So I'm in the National Museum, and it's the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. It's a more modern museum. It's famous now for the golden parade of the mummies that were moved here. So I'm just going to quickly run through just to show you some of the highlights. It really is a fantastic museum. Showing, and I'm actually going backwards, but showing Egypt through the ages. Prehistoric, Coptic, history, as well as ancient history moving forwards. Downstairs, which we're not allowed to film in, you have the pharaohs and all the mummies. This is Akhenaten, who was the first man who became a monotheist, a believer in God as opposed to gods. And he was also meant to be a great family man. Here we have the covering of a crypt, and there's a queen inside. Going to seeing a scribe and an ibis. An ibis was called the farmer's friend because he pecked at the ground and helped the farmers. Then on to protective goddesses. For example, we have there a cobra, we have a vulture, we have cows, etc. Some things like, we're going to see some axes that are 5,000 years old and made out of wood. This is the architect who's believed to be a partner of Hatshepsut, who pretended to be a man in order to be the ruler, and they believe that the child that he is holding was actually their child. Again, it's really, really interesting. Like, you could almost spend a good 3 hours here. I think we've been here for just over an hour, but if you're really interested in history and in ancient civilizations, it definitely is one that you come back to. And this is what you'd expect to see in an Egyptian museum there. You can see how modern it is, full of light, very much in contrast to the Great Museum, which is older, more traditional. So there you can see some of the Coptic crosses, etc. And that's a queen in the shape of a sphinx. And then just quickly going on to what I told you about, and the axes that are 5,000 years old, which were used for ploughing the ground. So really hoes as such. And then they measured everything with rope. So they use that to measure distance and for architecture. Here we have some sickles that were made out of either flint or bones, and then a container for storing food. So they put it in the top and take it out slowly in the back. So just to summarize, this is an amazing, amazing museum that we really think that you should visit and spend a lot of time here because it's fantastic. And as I said, the golden parade of the mummies were brought here. And so that's in the basement, but again, we can't film that. And just to show you this skeleton that lived 35,000 years ago is here. So this skeleton was found buried lower down the Nile, and it's a man who lived 35,000 years ago. And his tools that he was using were also found beside him. It's a fantastic place to visit.